one and all, and listen to tales of excitement and adventure. Tales of daring heroes, savage monsters, and bards who just couldn't keep it in their pants. Tales of friendship, nobility, drunken foolishness, and unforgettable fun. These are tales of role-playing games, fair listeners, and this is Rollin' Bones. My name is Ryan Howard, and I shall be your guide. 1, 2, 1, 2. Oh, there it is. All right, and we are back now. Can you guys hear me? Let's see. And David, real quick. Oh, sorry, you've got your mouth full. All right, cool. There we go. Just making sure that you could hear me, I could hear you. And yep. Gunnar says that we are loud and clear. So, all right, cool. And yes, out of the loop. Then there was sound. So, guys, once again, welcome to Danishes and Dragons, your RPG morning show. Now complete with audio issues. Because what's a stream without a couple good audio issues? So, as I was saying before we found out that none of you could hear me, today on Danishes and Dragons, we are graced with the presence of the bearded wonder himself, David Lindsay, a guy that I used to work with. He just wrapped up his first adventure as a dungeon master, and so we're here to talk about that. We're also here to talk about the lovely and amazing bagel, a staple of breakfast food. So, David, welcome to Danishes and Dragons.
Hey, thanks, man. It's good to be on.
Absolutely. So, I have to ask because we're both kind of known around the office for our coffee. So, what do you got in your mug today?
Well, so I have had to downgrade to Seattle's Best. No insult to Seattle's Best. At the grocery store because my favorite coffee shop, as you may have heard, is closed down. So yeah, today I'm doing just a morning blend from the grocery store. Nothing too special.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've got Kicking Horse Three Sisters.
Okay. Wow.
And
sounds like a lot.
Yes. And this Kicking Horse was recommended to me by someone from Spoony Sage in the chat. His girlfriend Nim has a stream where she streams horror games, and someone from that stream actually showed up here and recommended Kicking Horse to me, and I love it. So Fallen, if you're watching, thank you for recommending Kicking Horse. I do in fact love this stuff.
I'm going to add that to my short list.
Mm-hmm. And then the Kroger near us also has a pretty cool selection of like Nashville local roasters. So we've got we have some Bongo Java. I think we've had some Frothy Monkey as well. Just a lot of the good stuff that you can get here in our fair city.
Nothing compares to Dunbros, though.
Absolutely. Right. I didn't even know they were shutting down, but that makes sense.
Yeah, they shut down, unfortunately. Sign of the times and all that.
And yes, Spoony, Fallen will get a kick out of it. So, as we, Loop, I have tried Bones Coffee. They kind of reeled me in with some of their unusually flavored coffees, the ones that are like cookies and cream or Irish cream, and mostly what I found with those is they smell like the thing they're supposed to taste like, but when you drink them, they just kind of taste like bad coffee. And so I'm not really a fan of Bones Coffee, but I have in fact tried it. I know that's unusual coming from a man with a show called Rollin' Bones, but yes, I have tried it. Mm-hmm. Gotcha. So, as you requested yesterday, we are talking about everything bagels. I believe you've got one with cream cheese over there. Is that correct?
I certainly do. Yeah. You can buy a whole bunch of them, put them in the toaster or on the skillet, as I've been doing recently.
Gotcha.
And Because when I was at the office, you could just go over to this convenience store and grab a whole bunch of them and your coffee, and there you go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, back in the CNC days, you guys would always have a thing of bagels sitting on the table when I'd walk over.
That's right. Yeah.
That's one of the major things that I miss. Actually, that's probably the only thing I miss about the office is in the morning I don't get to do CNC anymore.
Yeah, really just that and 2:00 ping pong, but you know.
Yeah, and for those of you who were not present for that and don't know what we're referring to, CNC was Coffee and Contemplation. The alternative name for it was French Press and Friendship because of David and I. And it was a whole bunch of us, a lot of the people that David actually ran a game for. Oh, yes, absolutely. I've got mine right here. A lot of the people that were involved in that game with David and a lot of the people that Gunnar plays with as well, we just kind of gather around before 8 o'clock when we were expected to be doing our jobs, and we just kind of talk and drink our coffee and have a good time.
Yeah, that was awesome. Mm-hmm. People watched, too. That was fun.
Yeah. Yeah, our office was on the second floor of a building that looked over downtown. So we were, right on one of the main streets in Nashville. We were just watching people as they were walking to and from their jobs, and we'd watch them at lunch too. And there were some interesting people wandering around Fourth and Church.
Yeah, I'll never forget the time. That one lady stood there for a good 20 minutes and carved a small pumpkin. Just sat it on a fire hydrant and walked away. This was in January, so it wasn't even Halloween time.
I completely missed that. I must not have gotten there at that time.
What is she doing? Yeah, people are strange.
Mm-hmm. And we'd also admire the dogs that would walk by.
Oh, yeah.
There was that one that had mastered the show dog walk. That was pretty fun.
Yeah, the prance. He didn't walk. He pranced everywhere.
Yeah.
Very proud of himself.
Absolutely. Yep. And so when it comes to bagels, this is something that I've kind of noticed in my life when it comes to enjoying bagels. I have kind of a relationship with bagels where I'll get super into them and I'll want a bagel every morning, and then I'll get sick and tired of them.
Yeah, I don't know. I tend to mix it up. Today I went with the cream cheese. Sometimes you go with the peanut butter, mm-hmm. A little bit extra filling. That's really good on like a cinnamon raisin, for instance.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Yeah, on mine today I did scrambled egg, and then I did leftover ground beef and pepper jack cheese. And it was delicious. All out. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, when I do bagels, sometimes it's good to have a bagel with cream cheese, but a lot of times I will make some kind of elaborate bagel sandwich.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm really going for something quick and easy and something I can get with my, just something to have with my coffee.
Mm-hmm.
So I have started doing on Sundays. I'll get up and make pancakes.
Gotcha.
So I got a routine of getting up on Sundays, making pancakes. I'll usually call my mom, kind of check in with her.
Mm-hmm.
I've started seeing somebody, so we've had kind of like a pancake breakfast, like quarantine date, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Now the real question here is, do you share the pancakes with Gunnar?
Well, he's typically not up early enough to eat them. I'm kind of an early riser, mm-hmm. when I don't have to be. Well, and I got the puppy that sleeps in the room with me, so she'll wake me up first thing in the morning to go out sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Better than the
Absolutely.
alternative.
And then my wife Elfie in the chat, she's saying that is a great way to win a girl over. So make her pancakes.
My puppy's name is Buttons. Elfie, if you want.
Oh, Buttons. Hey, Buttons. Stream just got a million times better because we had a
Yeah. I like to sleep under the desk while I'm working.
Mm-hmm. We used to have a kitty every now and then, but Ronan doesn't want to be on camera anymore. Ronan, he's sitting right over in the doorway, just looking out, and he won't come over here.
Well, cats will be cats.
Yeah,
Cat things.
absolutely. But one thing I wanted to talk about as far as bagels go, there's a lot of foods that we all, depending on where we're from, get very precious about. For example, I am a North Carolinian. I am extremely precious about barbecue. You're born and raised in Tennessee, right?
Okay. I am.
Gotcha. I haven't quite figured out what the Tennessee food is. So, do you know what it is? Is it fried chicken? Like, what is it that Tennessee gets super precious about?
Well, Nashville would like to say hot chicken, of course. I don't see. I was. My parents were Midwestern, so we didn't really have any like Tennessee staple meals or whatever. I would say like for me personally, like good plate of like biscuits and gravy. I've never been a grits guy. But yeah, give me a good plate of biscuits and gravy, and now we're talking.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, but the reason I bring that up is there's one thing that New Yorkers get super precious about. Well, pizza. So there's two things, but one of them is bagels. And even though I am the biggest hypocrite in this regard, I will jump all over people about what is and is not good barbecue. But when it comes to bagels, I'm just like, dude, it's a bagel.
Right. It's a less sweet donut.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah.
So, okay. Moving on to barbecue. So, like, how do you feel about Memphis barbecue?
I like Memphis barbecue fine. I mean, like, my only exposure to Memphis barbecue, kind of like growing up was Sticky Fingers. I don't have you been to Sticky Fingers before?
I'm not.
Yeah, it's a chain restaurant. So there's one in Myrtle Beach, and then there's one in Charleston, I think. And there's been a couple kind of around the Carolinas, but they do like Memphis style barbecue.
Okay.
And I always thought that stuff.
I've been to a few spots in Memphis.
Oh, gotcha. But yeah, I found that around here you get either Memphis style or Alabama style.
Yeah, that's true. Mm-hmm. So not a lot of North Carolina style.
Yep.
Or is it Carolina or Virginia? I'm sorry.
Carolina style.
Gotcha.
And I mean, our big thing is the vinegar sauce, which
right.
Like your mileage may vary with the vinegar sauce. I know one of the guys that I work with is from Kansas City, and he and I have recently started going at each other about barbecue.
Yeah, because they don't like vinegar there, do they?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they do they do the sweet sauce, and they like their ribs.
Mm-hmm. When the world starts back up again, hopefully, maybe we'll have to do like a nice barbecue tour.
Absolutely, I'd love to do a barbecue tour. And we could add bourbon to that as well. Do a bourbon and barbecue tour.
Yeah, there you go. The old B&B.
Yep. 'Cause there was this festival in Charlotte that I never got to go to. It was blues, beer, bourbon, and barbecue. And so they'd have blues bands playing, and then there'd be beer, bourbon, and barbecue tents all set up, and it always sounded like the most fun thing ever. But I just never got the chance to go.
At the Biltmore.
Oh, the
Just add
Biltmore.
another beer.
The Biltmore would never.
We want you riffraff here. Go away.
The Biltmore is one of the more like fancy, not even places, but areas of town that I've ever seen. I once like just had to like stop for a bathroom break on the way from Charlotte to Nashville, and I was stopping at the Biltmore McDonald's, like on that exit, and every building is like that old school Victorian style, including the McDonald's.
The old McDonald's.
And it's the only time I've
yeah,
ever...
no, my dad went to visit the Biltmore. Yeah, he went to visit the Biltmore, and he brought back like one of the DVDs or whatever that they sell, and showed it to us and everything. I was because I've never been, but I was looking at it. I was like, oh, so like these people were like, they were royalty. They were just so rich that they might as well have been American royalty. That's an interesting concept.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, yeah, and it was, yeah, that was the Vanderbilt family that ended up building that household. So yeah, it was,
Which is also big in Nashville too because of the college.
oh yeah. But yeah, that was the only time I ever walked into a McDonald's and thought I was being judged by the people inside.
You're not fancy enough for this McDonald's.
It's also the only McDonald's I've ever been into that has like a player piano, because there was a literal one of the pianos that like plays itself in the corner playing music. Not even like, I know back in the 80s.
Who's that for?
Yeah, I have no idea. I know back in the 80s there was the Mac Tonight commercials with the guy with the moon head who would play the piano, and they would put those animatronics in different McDonald's. But this was just a player piano that was playing the Merry Old Land of Oz from The Wizard of Oz.
The Biltmore. I'm just going to that McDonald's just to see it.
Yep.
Actually, another coworker of ours, I was talking to him, Kyle Keith, had called me out because, and I don't know if this is a North Carolina thing, but it's certainly a Tennessee thing. I said the McDonald's. She called me out on it. I said that's such a like Southern thing. Of the McDonald's and the Walmart, not just Walmart, the Walmart.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, and it's the Walmart because in whatever town you're in, it's the Walmart.
It's the Walmart, yeah.
Yeah. It's basically City Hall.
Yeah. When where I grew up, I had to like when we went shopping, we had to drive to like 30 minutes into town to go to the Walmart.
Yep. Absolutely.
So, yeah. To make it count,
Now, in the time that the town that I grew up in, when it was built, the Walmart was basically like the town square, the city hall. But then we got a cookout, and that became the city hall.
Okay. That's where all the nefarious fools went to hang around. Huh?
Yeah, on a Friday night, so there were two high schools within 8 minutes of this cookout, and so on Friday nights when the football games would be over, both schools would converge on this cookout.
Were the schools rivals, and they had like little mini like battles in the parking lot.
That would have made it a lot more interesting, but the one was a private school, one was a public school, so the two just kind of ignored each other.
Oh right, yeah.
But that place would be bumping until about like 3 in the morning when they would close, and so yeah, it's yeah.
Wow. Cookout is so aptly named too because it's exactly the type of food that you would find at your cousin's cookout. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's not anything like completely delicious. It's not bad, but most importantly, it's cheap.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, yeah.
Never
When
been
I
in.
oh, sorry, go ahead, man.
Oh, I've never actually like been impressed with the food at cookout, but I've always been like, well, yeah, but I get all this for $5.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. When I was driving Uber, I had this drunk guy, and it's a whole story. I don't know if I should go into the whole story. Well, okay, now I have to. Because I don't think I've told this story on air. I've told several people this story, though. But I pick up this guy at a bar, and it's 2:30 in the morning. This is my last ride. It's headed back to the town that I live in. And, I'm going to take this guy home, and then I'm going to call it a night. And so he gets in the car, and this is where this podcast is going to become not safe for work. But as soon as his butt hits the seat, he looks up at me and he goes, "So Ryan, do you like to have sex with random women?" And I'm like,
A CNC once. This is a good one, guys.
yeah.
Hold on to your butts.
I look, I'm like, what? Uh, I'm committed, so no. No. Ah, all right. And then his girlfriend gets in the car, and we're driving, and he starts asking me all these questions about just like where I went to school, and he goes, "Are you Jewish?" No, no, sir, I'm not Jewish. Good.
Oh,
There's nothing worse on this planet than being a Jew. And I'm just like, I don't know what to do with any of this. Because when you're driving an Uber, you are a captive audience to whatever the person in the back seat has to say. And so I just have to let this guy go, and he's too drunk to really. Yeah, he's too drunk to really even know what he's saying. So I'm just like, let's see where this ride takes us. Yeah, I can't get out of the car, Elfie. And so he starts going off on like the school that I went to and how everyone he knows from that school is either, I believe he said either gay or a whore. And so he starts going off on this one girl in particular who went to school with my older sister. So this is someone that I know. And he's just going on and on and on about her and how she's a terrible person and I'm just like, just keep driving. Just keep driving. But then we get to, close to the end of the ride, and we're passing by Cookout, and he's like, "I'm hungry. Honey, are you hungry?" "Yeah, I'm a little bit hungry. Let's go to Cookout." And so I pull into Cookout. This man orders 100 chicken nuggets. 100 chicken nuggets. Do you know how much 100 chicken nuggets from Cookout cost?
$7.
More than that.
How much did it end up costing him?
So his wife got a combo meal, and I think the total bill was like $35. So my takeaway from this is that 100 chicken nuggets from Cookout cost less than $100 or less than $30.
Yeah.
So if you're in a bind, you've
Feed
got
your
a bunch
family
of,
for a week.
yeah, you got a bunch of people coming over, not really sure what to do. There's a Cookout nearby, 100 chicken nuggets, less than $30.
Guy's asking you all these weird sexual questions in front of his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Wife.
And then while we're getting the 100 chicken nuggets, he's trying to pick up the 17-year-old girl at the window. And I'm just sitting there like, please don't ban me from this Cookout.
I mean, he just bought 100 chicken nuggets. He's, save some dates for the rest of us, guy.
Yeah. I did all but point at the Uber sticker saying I have to, I can't, I'm not with him.
Yeah.
But then we get close to his house, and what becomes clear at this point was that he was trying to recruit me to be, shall we say, the third. Because he asked me if he gave me $100 cash, would I just kind of come over and hang out with them? So,
was your involvement necessary, or could you just like be there, just kind of hanging out, like, hey, I'm gonna get some of these chicken nuggets. Y'all have fun.
I didn't want to find out. Because the second someone is like, hey, if I give you $100, will you, just kind of show up at my house and hang out? Someone you don't know, offering you money to show up at their house. Yes, Gunnar, this guy only operates on 100 of everything.
Yeah. Think about how many chicken nuggets you could have bought with that $100.
Mm-hmm.
500 chicken nuggets.
And yeah, John, it was a trap. I was afraid as soon as he was like, if I give you $100, will you just come hang out? I was like, what kind of, am I a sacrifice?
Yeah, he was trying to start his warlock pact.
So, with the Uber story out of the way there, now everyone's heard the story of my adventures. You recently completed running everyone through Lost Mines of Phandelver, which I've got here. My copy is destroyed because I'm bad at caring for books. So overall, how was that experience for you?
Oh yeah, it was. I mean, it was fun. I learned a lot about the role as DM because I've been in part of a homebrew campaign for almost 2 years now, Paladin, and being on the other side of the screen is really interesting. I'm playing with the same people I play the homebrew campaign with, so I was essentially the new DM. Running a 1 through 5 adventure with veteran players who humbled me at every turn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a challenge to shift yourself from player to GM with a group of people that you've played with for a while, but I feel like that's also kind of the best environment to learn the game because you know these people. You have somewhat of an idea of what they're going to try and do, and they're friends, so they're probably going to be a lot more forgiving of any mistakes that you might make.
Take it easy on me, especially having the GM from our main game in. So just every once in a while, I'll be like, health potion cost 50 gold, just so I didn't have to look it up real quick. When I didn't have it in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
Almost got Gunnar's character killed a few times in the first encounter. That was very on brand for old Gundy.
Is Gunner the one who is most likely to take a fall?
And kind of rushed out in front of the barbarian and the cleric. Yeah, almost. Mm-hmm. and yeah, it took started at level 1, and I don't know if you've ran Fendelver or not before, but mm-hmm. a lot of goblins, a lot of hobgoblins, that sort of thing. And they're easy to underestimate. When you're level 1 and you have max 10 hit points, it's you got to be careful.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Yeah, I remember the first time when I was running my group through Phandelver. I think the first time they went up against a bugbear, it was really eye-opening just how weak a first or second level character can be, especially when you've got that brute feature on the bugbear that lets them do an extra die of damage.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and then later on in the module, they get fighter class perks. So they were having action surge and second winds and things like that. I had one of my players kind of tell me hey, your bugbears were harder than the final boss. And I was like, yeah, I tried to beef up the black spider as much as I could.
Yeah, and that's honestly, I think Phandelver is a good adventure, but if there's one criticism that I have of it, it's that a lot of the side bosses, like the Green Dragon and stuff like that, those are harder than what your final boss ends up being. And if you're able to isolate the Black Spider from any of his minions, you can basically steamroll him at that point.
Ended up adding a second phase to the Black Spider that turned him into a Drider. So that was kind of fun, but still, I have this rogue that has sharpshooter, and he gets advantage if he doesn't move in combat, and he just absolutely just deals the pain. So I have to come up with more creative ways to get around that.
Absolutely. Now, one thing that I was thinking about, just kind of moving past Phandelver and thinking about different adventures, there's this adventure idea that I came up with, and this is going to be a little bit unusual, so just kind of bear with me here. So you start out, and everyone, you've got your typical classes, but everyone is playing appliances. And the goal of the adventure is that you have to go out and find what happened to your old master, who you haven't seen in years.
This is the brave little toaster, isn't it? As soon as you said appliances, I was like, yep, Ryan's on his brave little toaster spiel again.
That became that was a product of Coffee and Conversations. For anyone out there who doesn't know me in my personal life, I have to be in a very weird kind of state of mind or weird mood for a movie to make me cry. And one time I was in that weird mood, and I was watching all 3 Brave Little Toaster movies back to back, and it elicited an emotional response from me. And I used this emotional response to carry over my theory that the Brave Little Toaster is the standard by which all movies should be judged, and I subjected David in particular, but everyone in the CNC crew, to that rant a few times.
Yeah, it was I've never seen anybody so passionate about a kid's franchise before. It was something. Yeah, no, I mean, because we're still like quarantining and everything, so we're doing a lot of our stuff over Roll20, and I guess like a month into just being here and not doing anything but being at work and staying home, I was like, I want to. I got some creative energy. I got to get out. So I loaded up Roll20. I saw that. Lost Minds was free. They were just giving the module away. I guess to kind of help people get into it. And so I ran it and I really enjoyed it. And so I kind of made it a main series now, and we're running other adventures, same characters.
Gotcha. Awesome. And are you still? I don't remember what the next adventure is called, but the one from the Essentials box set, is that still the one that you're wanting to kind of transition to?
Yeah, so I picked up the Dragon of Icespire Peak. I picked up the entire Essentials kit. So Stormlord's Wrath, Sleeping Dragon's Wake, Divine Contention, and plan on running all of them as a addition to Fandelver. The problem is Icespire Peak is a 1 through 7 adventure, and they're already at level 5. So I've kind of had to do a lot more. A lot more work on it, change some of the enemies to harder enemies, that sort of thing. But it does take place in the same area. So, they got to return to a place that they already knew and cared about. That's cool.
Gotcha. And are you guys still playing in the campaign that Niles was running? Is that still going on?
It is. Yeah, we are... We're coming up on our 2 years in September, the next month. We just finished session 73 or 4 or something. I'm not sure. But yeah, we're coming up on the grand finale of that, and that's a lot. Yeah.
And what level are you guys at in that campaign? Are you near 20, or how's that kind of worked out?
So we just hit 17. So yeah, I'm a paladin. So soon I'm gonna get that 30-foot aura range, which is very nice. But I just got my 5th level spell slot, so I'll be able to smite.
Yep. And one thing that I noticed running a game for a high-level paladin, because I did a campaign that went all the way from 1 to 20, and one of my players was a paladin. Once you get past 15th level, paladins are just, like, stupid, especially when it comes to demons or undead.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. 'Cause, you get the bonus holy damage, you can... I actually have a magic item that basically gives me holy weapon without concentration, so that's really cool.
Yep.
But yeah, it's been. I didn't really play Dungeons and Dragons before this campaign, and I understand how absolutely lucky I am to, to just be able to play such a long running campaign, but also make really good friends with just sitting around the table and playing a game.
Oh yeah. Now how did you get involved with that particular group in that game? Because I know you guys knew each other well before I showed up, but was it just through work and like working on the same teams? How did that come together?
Niles, and I had expressed that I wanted to start playing. Now there was a store, mostly like a tabletop store, right down the street from where I lived in Hermitage, the Game Cave. You might know of it.
Yep.
So I was interested in the game. I had seen Stranger Things, of course, a few episodes of Community. that featured D&D. I was like, this seems really cool. And so Niles put me onto Critical Role, which helped me learn the game just by watching people play. And then I just started going to that store and I said, hey, I'd like to play. Show me how. Which it was cool because they accepted me, not knowing anything, and kind of showed me the ropes, but it was very, very loose and fast with, the story and everything. It wasn't exactly what I was looking for. So Niall said, hey, I'm about to start up a campaign with these group of people that I've played, and I didn't know any of them at the time. But he invited me. I showed up to his house as a stranger. 2 years later, they're all my best friends. I'm living with the cleric.
The paladin and the cleric are roommates.
Exactly. Yeah, holy boys for the win.
I feel like that'd be a great animated series. Like if Dan Harmon's got some time, just put together a college type series about a paladin and a cleric sharing an apartment. Smite gang.
Smite gang. Yeah, no, I mean for sure. Or you could do like the paladin and the warlock and do like an odd couple type situation.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm gearing up to play in a campaign. It's one of my Wednesday players. I'm about to pause my Dark Sun game for a little bit, and one of the other players is going to run for a while. But he's doing this like martial arts themed campaign called Legend of the Five Elders, and I'm playing a Hexblade Warlock. So this will be my first ever spellcaster character.
Okay. That's exciting. Yeah, one of my players is a warlock, and I'm seeing how like cool and diverse they can actually be.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, and I just got my mini from Eldritch Foundry here. It came in a couple days ago.
Okay. So are you guys playing in person, or how does this work?
We're still playing over Zoom.
Okay.
But you know me, you know how obsessed I am with miniatures and painting. So I have to have a custom mini or a mini that represents any character that I play. And I also have to have a mini for any big bad that I shell out to my players. So I'm sitting over here looking at this giant dragon for Dark Sun.
Well, and that's been something I've really enjoyed about playing on Roll20 is that I am able to just like find concept art, and then you can just display it whenever you want. So if I introduce like a new NPC or a new big bad, you have like some pretty badass character art that you can just kind of display and everybody sees at once. Obviously nothing beats in person, but close.
Yeah, and I really am looking forward to like getting back to gaming in person. It's something that I've noticed has been very difficult, just really because of the job that I do 5 days a week, and I'm sure you guys have noticed this too. So much of our jobs is video conferencing and speaking with people on the phone, and so when you get on a video conference, even to game or to hang out with friends, it's almost like you're back in the office, and doubly so for me because my office is also where I game and also where I do the podcast. And
sure, yeah, I have this little corner, this little alcove that I game on. I run my game on Saturday, or on Wednesdays.
Mm-hmm.
So I do my 8 hours in the chair, and then I take like an hour and a half break, and then I do another 4 hours in the chair. So yeah. being said, it's been a very cheap and effective way to get into the game and get into DMing without having to buy a lot of minis, buy a lot of maps, that sort of thing. You don't even need dice. It has a dice roller. Roll20 does, so.
Yeah. Yeah, and I do think, to not harp on how much I don't like virtual gaming for once, I do think this has been a great time to get people into the hobby, because it's one of these times where everyone has a ton of free time. Anyone with an internet connection and a webcam can jump on a game. I've got friends back in North Carolina who have been talking to me about jumping on games, and so it's been cool for getting people into games and connecting with people that you might have lost touch with, and gaming with them. And that's a pretty cool thing. It's at this point, everyone's got time, everyone's got the means to jump on a game and learn to play. And if you fall in love with this hobby, even in these circumstances, it's something that brought you to the table. And in my mind, that's an absolute win, to quote the Incredible Hulk.
Oh, yeah. I'm very fortunate to have a set of players that are just absolutely fantastic role players. Mm-hmm. Going through dungeons, smashing shit is fun, but they surprise me at every turn with how dedicated they are to character. My barbarian, for instance, he has this extensive backstory that he's able to just meld in, seamlessly, and it's pretty impressive, honestly.
Yep. And it's always good when you have a barbarian who's that invested in the social side. Because barbarian, and one of the things that I've always found is a barrier to entry to playing a barbarian is...
Yeah. It's interesting, too.
Oh, sorry, go ahead, man.
It's interesting because the racial and class mix is unique, as he's playing a furbolg barbarian. Mm-hmm. If you're familiar with furbolgs, you know that they can speak with plants and animals, and they can just go invisible once a day. So that's terrifying.
Yeah, and it's always challenging to find that unique niche for a barbarian to slide into, where you're not just stacking dice and your character's sitting there with his finger up his nose during the roleplay sections. So the fact that you've got a barbarian in your party, and there's one in my Wednesday party who's very good at this, that's always cool, and I'm glad to see that people have kind of figured that out.
Can handle the boring talky stuff. He's almost got a bit of a druidic background, which is kind of interesting. So he's still a barbarian, still like a bear totem, but the the druidic flavoring is really cool to see.
Absolutely. Now, for a while there, you were talking about running, I think it was basically like a combination of Mice Templar, Mouse Guard, Redwall kind of campaign, where everyone's playing as small animals with class levels. Is that still something that you're kind of working on?
Yeah. So it's essentially just a reskin of 5e with woodland creatures, and I've got the base story drawn out. I've got everything, but I didn't want to tackle a homebrew campaign before I got my feet wet with a module. So then I started running Lost Mines. I decided that I love the characters a lot in Lost Mines to keep going. So but yeah, I've still got that underway. Yeah, Redwall was a big inspiration for that. I didn't read or play Mouse Guard, but I've seen a lot of the character art, and it's also an inspiration.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, stuff like that is always pretty cool, and I've got a friend back in Charlotte, Ashley. She'd go crazy for something like that. That's right up her alley, and I'm surprised she never tried to pull that off herself. Honestly, her
Yeah,
nickname. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, who doesn't want to play like a little cutesy woodland creature that can, that can absolutely obliterate foes.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, and her nickname for the longest time, even like before I met her, was Mouse, and so she kind of embraced mice and has a sketchbook that she takes to comic conventions to get artists to draw different mice in it, and she loves Redwall, so I was very surprised that she hadn't tried to pull something like that together or looked anything up about that. And so it's cool to see something like that.
Any character art, I know who to go to.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
But yeah, that's kind of the idea, and I think the most interesting concept of that is that mice would replace the humans, so it's mostly mice running around, but they only live max 5 years. Mm-hmm. So the idea of like 100 years would be eons for them. So I think like the idea of like what could happen in like a 20-year span would be absolutely massive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and now one question I have for you, are they like living in the big world, or is it like a small mouse world?
Well,
or is it some of both?
A little column A, little column B, where they're living in the regular world, but they don't know it. I guess would be the most apt response. Mm-hmm. For instance, like if you're walking around and you see a mouse or a turtle or whatever, how aware are they of you and your life and your cars and whatever else? Not very. Mm-hmm. And then I think one of the biggest things was, okay, well, how do I get those classic monsters in? Do I have to reskin a beholder? Do I have to reskin, other things? And I've got a few ideas that will do that.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be interesting to have a regular-sized mouse with mouse weapons go up against a full-on beholder.
Right. just a massive, eyeball. Mm. No, we'd have to do something there. But yeah, I got a few ideas. I think that was kind of at the height of boredom and creativity. I wanted to do that, but again, I didn't want to jump into like a homebrew world without at least knowing how to DM as a concept. Mm-hmm. So that's why I started running Lost Mine.
Gotcha. Cool. So I guess kind of, moving forward, you've got that next phase of your campaign kind of planned out, and you guys are pressing forward towards the end of Niall's campaign. Has anyone else in the group kind of expressed interest in stepping behind the screen, or have any like game ideas that they're throwing out that you guys are moving towards?
Well, Niles is already planning his campaign 2, which I've got a character for. I'm really excited to play. But I think in between, his current and his next, our good friend Gunnar is going to run a small sequel to one of the campaigns he ran a few years ago.
Oh, nice.
So that'll be fun. I'm excited about that because we'll be starting at level 15.
That's pretty cool. Epic level campaign.
Yeah, exactly. So that'll be fun.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And Gunnar is working on it as we speak, so...
Character sheet. I've already... that's the most fun part of D&D for me, is coming up with character ideas and building characters.
Mm-hmm.
And, the more I get to do that, the better. And that's why I've enjoyed DMing so much, is because I can just say, hey, let's make an NPC and, play it out and see how it does.
Mm-hmm. Yep, but you need to be careful with that as you're getting into DMing, because you're going to end up like all forever GMs do, with just binders and folders on your computer full of character ideas that you'll never get to break out because you're always running the game.
Never get to play. Yeah. Well, it was funny because for Niall's second campaign, I had an idea for a tiefling warlock that I was going to play. And in the meantime, I started on my game, which one of my good friends, Michaela, joined, played a tiefling warlock. So I didn't want to be a copycat. So I changed up my plan completely. And I don't know if you've seen any of the UA stuff for some of the new subclasses, but I'm going to do a Swarmkeeper Ranger.
Gotcha. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So it's going to be fun, I think.
Cool. Well, David, we are kind of, running up against time here. Is there anything coming up that you'd like to, shout out or promote or anything like that? Any bumps you want to give to anything? Go ahead and do so.
I mean, just, again, follow the Shogun Gun, anything he's doing. Sometimes he does, he draws out his mandalas on stream, and that's pretty fun. My friend Kyle does a stream sometime. I'll let you know when that gets back up sometime. But, I mean, follow this channel because it's pretty cool.
Cool. Well, David, thank you again for coming on. It's great to catch up with you and hear a little bit about the games that you've been doing and just talk to you, because it's been a while since we've seen each other. So, guys, that is going to do it for this week's Danishes and Dragons. On Monday, I am going back into the Savage World of Savage Worlds, and we are going to have the crew from the Wild Die podcast on, including the return of the legendary Carl Kiesler. And that's going to be on Monday at 8 p.m. Central here on this channel. Next Saturday, I have not decided what I'm going to do, but I will keep you guys posted on what Danishes and Dragons is going to look like next week. So until then, guys, thank you for watching, and whether you rolled a 1 or a 20, I'm so glad that you rolled your bones with me, Ryan Howard, and I'll see you guys next time.